Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. So this past weekend, being on October 1st, Cartoon Network celebrated their 30th anniversary. Yeah, it's been 30 years since Cartoon Network launched on October 1st of 1992. Kinda crazy that Cartoon Network's been around for that long. Throughout this year, we've talked about the predictions or expectations that I've had for the Cartoon Network 30th anniversary, and today I want to discuss with you guys what I thought about the anniversary as a whole. Did it live up to the expectations, or was it a disappointment? So first and foremost, Cartoon Network decided that for the entirety of the month of September, they would be airing classics on the channel once again, which I would say is not all too surprising. That's kind of like the bare minimum they can do for an anniversary. I thought they handled it pretty well in that we got a different show airing every night for the entirety of September. I know that at a given point, they did start to repeat what shows were airing. They had like Ed, Ed air in the beginning of the month, and then it aired once again this week. But overall, I thought they handled that pretty well. I was happy to see that all these old classics were on the channel once again, and of course they had special bumpers as well with little clips from all of these old shows, and I thought that was a good way to celebrate the anniversary on the channel itself. Could they have done more with that? Yeah, they could have. I mean, back for the 20th anniversary, we had those newly created bumpers with all of the characters interacting with each other. I would have liked to see something like that, but I'm not going to complain with what we got. I thought it was pretty good for what it was. Then we fast forward and they announced that, and honestly, I don't even know if they ever officially announced this because I never even saw a tweet from their Twitter, but it was revealed via Amazon listings that Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Ed, Eddy were getting complete series box sets, and those box sets are going to be releasing on October 18th. If you don't know about all those details, I'll leave a card above to that video. But yeah, we're getting complete series box sets of Ed, Eddy and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That is one of the things that I was really hoping for this anniversary. I was hoping that we would see some old classic series be released in complete series box sets on DVD and or Blu-ray, preferably Blu-ray, but in the case of Ed, Eddy and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, those shows weren't originally made in HD, so I'm not upset that they didn't release it in Blu-ray. It would have been nice for them to remaster it, but I'm not expecting them to do that, if that makes sense. So yeah, we're getting these two shows as complete series box sets. That's definitely good. I am a bit surprised that we're not getting any other shows as complete series box sets. Like, how do they arbitrarily choose these two shows for complete series box sets? Like, I'm more than happy with it, because these are two of my favorite series of all time on Cartoon Network, but you may not like those series. You might not be a fan of them. So for example, if you're a person who, let's say, doesn't like Ed, Eddy and doesn't like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, then you might be disappointed with this. They don't have a lot of variety in the front of complete series box sets because there's only two of them. Like, for me, like I said, I'm more than happy with what we're getting. I'm ecstatic that we're finally getting Ed, Eddy and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends in complete series box sets. But what about, like, the bigger shows? Because I would argue that the Powerpuff Girls is probably bigger than both of those series. I know it got a box set a while back, but that box set is like hundreds and hundreds of dollars online. So why not re-release that or make a new complete series box set for the Powerpuff Girls? What about other shows like, I don't know, Dexter's Laboratory, Codename Kids Next Door, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? There's a lot of shows that they could have gone with here, and while I'm happy with the selection, it's kind of surprising that they didn't take more shows from the 30-year history of Cartoon Network to give complete series box sets to. I don't want to rule out the possibility that what if this is like wave one of many, right? What if they're doing these two box sets first to see how they do, and then throughout the span of the next year, they'll be releasing more box sets. I don't want to rule that out completely, but at the same time, I wouldn't put any money on that. I wouldn't bank on that happening. They did also create some digital 30th anniversary complete series sets on iTunes and like Amazon Video, and they did it for about 8 to 10 shows, so who knows, maybe if these DVDs do well, they then take some of those digital complete series sets and make them into DVD box sets. But like I said before, I wouldn't put my money on that happening, but it's something to definitely watch out for if these two sets do really well. The last major thing that Cartoon Network did for the celebration is they had a live stream this past Saturday to celebrate the 30-year history of Cartoon Network, and essentially during this live stream, they just played episodes of some older Cartoon Network shows, and they said that there would be some surprising announcements during that, or some cool stuff happening, and I watched it a little bit. In my opinion, there wasn't anything crazy going on there, I didn't see any big announcements coming out of that, so it seemed like it was a bit overhyped. I know that they did announce that they're going to be having a giveaway, and the giveaway is that they're giving away a pair of Cartoon Network sneakers, which, like, yeah, that's cool, but I feel like with this celebration as a whole, it seems to me like they started to put these great plans together with, like, the DVD box sets, with these giveaways, with, you know, shows airing on the channel and whatnot, and then they kind of just stopped short. Like, to me, it feels like they started to put together this grand master plan for the 30th anniversary, and then they kind of just stopped once they got started. Like, I really feel like what's here isn't bad, but it needs to be coupled with something more, if that makes sense. It's not a bad starting point, but it shouldn't be the ending point. I feel like we should be getting more Cartoon Network Complete Series box sets. There should be more giveaways. This is the 30th anniversary. 30 years. It's a long time. And in all honesty, I feel like you could argue that the 20th anniversary was bigger than this for Cartoon Network. Like, I know we didn't have Complete Series box sets back then, but they did do re-releases, like special re-releases of some of their DVDs at the time with like Cartoon Network 20th anniversary branding on it. I would argue that the 30th anniversary box sets are probably bigger than that because they're actually creating new merchandise for the 30th anniversary. But again, like I said before, it seems like they started with these plans, they started creating these box sets, and then they just stopped after 2 for some reason. It feels like there should be more than this. It feels like they should be announcing more box sets for other popular series. Like, why isn't there a box set for Regular Show? That's a series that fans have been clamoring since it ended to have a Complete Series box set of it, and they did one for Adventure Time, they did one for Steven Universe. For whatever reason, they just haven't done one for Regular Show. I would also argue that The Amazing World of Gumball should have a Complete Series box set, but that one doesn't either. So as I said before, it really seems like they started to come up with these plans and just stopped. There should be more giveaways than just the one for sneakers. Like, cool, I take the free pair of sneakers because, you know, it's something cool for Cartoon Network's 30th anniversary, but what about other things? Like, I feel like there could have been a whole line of merchandise surrounding this 30th anniversary, and I know for me, speaking for myself, I would have definitely bought some of that stuff. I'm sure other people would have as well. I'm sure it would have been a rather popular line, and one of my predictions, I made a video a while back saying I was predicting there would be a line of 30th anniversary Funko Pops, and I honestly, in that video, you can go back and watch it, I said I thought it was a lock to happen, and it hasn't happened, which is really surprising to me given that there is a whole Cartoon Network line of Funko Pops that came out last year. So why not build off of all of that for the 30th anniversary? Like I said before, it really seems like they started to come up with these great plans for the 30th anniversary, and then at a given point they just kind of gave up on it and stopped developing them. Like, this was all a great starting point, but this should not have been it. There should have been more than what we got. That's at least my feeling on it. I mean, you guys can tell me in the comment section below if you disagree with me and you're really happy with what we got, but as I said, I feel like this was a great starting point, but there should have been more. I think you can make an argument that the 20th anniversary was overall better with the cool bumpers we got, and honestly, even the state of Cartoon Network 10 years ago was a lot better than it is today. So yeah, I mean, the 30th anniversary came, it went, Cartoon Network tried, but I'm not going to give them a participation trophy. I feel like there should have been more here. Like I said, it was a good starting point, but they shouldn't have ended it there. They should have done more to build up this 30th anniversary. And before I sign off, I will say they were hyping this up a little bit on Cartoon Network's Twitter. They were like, yeah, stay tuned for the 30th anniversary plans. We got some special stuff coming. Yeah, you had a couple things, but not as much as people were hoping for or expecting. So overall, I feel like the 30th anniversary was definitely a letdown, especially with all the anticipation surrounding it, as well as on top of that, we still don't know the future of Cartoon Network. Like, there's a lot of shows they could have, you know, given updates on, or like trailers or something, and instead, they didn't do anything like that. Instead, we got some box sets, which I'm more than happy with. Some old shows were on the channel, which is great, and that's pretty much it. They should have definitely done more here, and yeah, so let me know in the comments section below what you guys thought about the 30th anniversary. Are you guys a bit disappointed like I am, and do you think that they got started on the right foot, but for some reason just kind of stopped in their tracks? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.